Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It's your man God of Dots back with a special episode. I guess special episode, more of a freestyle Friday. I'm not sure how long the show is going to be. We'll see how it kind of goes, but I got some thoughts to kind of get out, and this is my, in the words of Nas, this is my book of rhymes. This is how I kind of get it out, and write down the moment for what it is. Okay, so I know you caught the thumbnail. We talked about this earlier this week. If you follow me in the other space, I did a show on. I touched on this topic on my Wednesday show in the other space, but I wanted to kind of do part two, do a more in-depth breakdown, but kind of keep it into the realm of sports when we're talking about it. Basically, the title of the show tonight is called "The Black Effect," and from time to time and from generation to generation, it seems that pop culture or culture period has a problem with black athletes being unapologetically themselves. Too often, when you're talking about sports, they want you to, have the training, the media training, and that kind of stuff, and where they want you to talk a certain way, they want you to dress a certain way, they want you to present yourself in a certain way. But every now and then, it comes an individual or a group of individuals who want to buck the trend, who want to be them, who want to be outside of the norm, doesn't want to be a part of the collective. This and typically when we have those moments in sports, is typically around black athletes or black personalities. I was going to put it to you like that. Deion Sanders is just the latest example of that happening on the national scale. Several years ago, it was Colin Kaepernick. Years before that, it was Allen Iverson. You can go back to the Fab Five. You can go back to the Olympics in '68 in Mexico. Jack Johnson. I mean, Muhammad Ali. You can go down a list of figures in sports who seem to be bigger than the sport itself, whose personality, being unapologetically them, drew so much attention, and a lot of it has been um, a mix, especially when we're talking about the Deion Sanders situation, has been a mix of positive and a mix of negative reaction to him. I talked about this earlier this week. One thing I can appreciate about Dion, and I can appreciate about any of these people that I've talked about thus far on the show, is that they are not afraid to be themselves. If you listen to my show I did in the space, on the other space on Wednesday, I was kind of setting this up. I was kind of setting this up because it talks, when I'm talking about being at peace with yourself, being comfortable with who you are as a person, and not trying to put on airs, not trying to impress others, just being you, your natural self. It bothers some people, but it should be a state of mind and a state of reality we all should be kind of striving for. But to kind of keep it focused in on the sports, not to get too philosophical with the commentary tonight. When you watch the Deion Sanders phenomenon, it's crazy to watch it from the outside, looking in. Here you have a black man he's not the first black man to coach a Power Five school. He's not the first black man to be, excuse me, successful at a Power Five school. It's just that you have, Dion is a personality unlike any other. He is a football coach who comes in with his own cachet, comes in with his own credentials already made. Is already a made man. Obviously, he's not a guy that has been created by the system, and it's not a guy who has been nurtured along by the system. He didn't come in as an assistant coach on some other coaches' platform. He's not riding the coattails of another coach's success at the collegiate level or even at the professional level. He's not a guy that is sitting on the laurels of him being a Hall of Fame football player, but is a guy who has such a personality, such a star power that you're drawn into um, the world of Deion Sanders, and I think the sports world as a whole is being drawn in to the world of a Deion Sanders. Um, it started a couple years ago with him, going to be head football coach down at Jacksonville State. and he was successful, very successful down there in the SWAC. Put HBCU football back on the map. And excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. Gotta give me a little sip of water. It's been a long day. But it's a guy who put HBCU football back on the map as far as drawing national attention to it. I know ESPN aired a couple football games over the past couple of years dealing with HBCU teams. But here you have Deion Sanders, who has come in, was successful on that level. And it was a lot of fuss being made by him, coming to, I guess you can call it D1 level of competition, moving up to a Power 5 school, moving up to a school who has not had much success in the past. I was keep it a buck. Over the past 30 years, a team that won one game last year, he comes in, before he's even coached the game, all lights are on him, all eyes are on him. What is he going to do? Is he going to be that successful? Is his coaching style conducive to D1? Is that something that this works on the HBCU level? How you doing, Miss Murph? Is that a style that's going to work? Is he going to be able to recruit? Is he going to be able to compete at this level? And thus far this season, his team has been able to compete, and now they are a nationally ranked team in the top 25 of the AP polls. And it seems like every week, it's somebody taking a side swipe at him, taking a side swipe at his players, taking a side swipe at his program. It was a lot of fuss was made by him when he came in and addressed the team that was on scholarship from last year. It's like, hey, I'm bringing in some of my guys. If you want to transfer. I'm cleaning house. And me personally, I didn't have a problem with it because I understood what he was doing. Hey, why would I want to keep a group of guys who won one football game? Hey, at the end of the day, my job is to win. I don't win, I don't be successful. It's a failure, and all eyes are on him. But it seems like every week the hate is keeps growing as he becomes more successful. The hate keeps growing, and let's keep it a buck. It's mainly coming from white media. White media is having a hard time understanding how this man, who has no, I guess you would call, track record of coaching credentials, in their eyes, is able to be successful, is able to galvanize a school, galvanize a program just by his mere presence. Damn what he does on the field. I think whatever his record ends up being, based on the talent that he has, the schedule that he plays, is going to be what it's going to be. I think he's going to be successful. I think you're going to see Colorado in the bowl game. But his experience and the Deion Sanders experience this year on the D1 level, just like I said, reminds me of how uncomfortable people are with other people who are comfortable in themselves. I can take you back to Colin Kaepernick. Hey, I took a stand. This is something that I felt like I believed, and the result of his stance and him being true to himself was that he was in essence blackballed by the NFL. You can take it back a step further. The reason why the NBA has got a dress code is because you had players, and namely Allen Iverson was the poster child for that. A guy that, with the cornrows, baggy clothes, the jury on, sitting on the sidelines, and let's be clear. Let's be clear. Anybody that's ever been to an NBA game knows that the majority of the audience that is watching it, in the building, is predominantly white. Let's keep it a buck. A lot of the floor seats, a lot of those premium seats are occupied by white people who got a little piece of change to spend to come watch the NBA game, and they had a problem with seeing a guy who they would probably cross the street from if they saw him outside of the arena in real life. Making millions of dollars, not being a corporate type figure. He was the anti-corporate, but he was true to himself, and that was a problem for a lot of people. You could take it back even further than that. We're talking about the Fab Five in regards to college basketball. Before they came along with the baggy clothes and that kind of swag about themselves, guys was wearing in essence, nut huggers. I mean, let's keep it a buck, but it was, they were a break from the norm and they weren't afraid to be themselves. And it makes people uncomfortable. But it always seems that, you know, the media, it get real uncomfortable. And, in this culture period, people get real uncomfortable when you're comfortable with yourself. When you're true to yourself, you're not trying to kowtow, you're not trying to fit in, you're not trying to be the mold that they think you should be and they want you to be, and they try to put you into that mold. It makes people feel very, very, very uncomfortable. And bring it back to Dion. I just find it funny. A lot of fuss is being made about this man and what he's done with this college football program thus far this season. Instead of just celebrate, hey, this guy came in, brought a lot of guys in, and is being successful with his team on the field. Is not having any issues as far as like um, infractions with the NCAA, as far as like how he's recruiting, any problems with his program thus far. Instead of that being celebrated, it's they're nitpicking. They're nitpicking, and they only nitpick. They only nitpick um, with things that they want to accept. And when I say they, I'm talking about the media. Let's bring it back to an example from last season when we're talking about the LSU girls basketball team, the controversy that came out of that. Here you have a how you doing, Dr. Nikki? Here you have a white basketball player, female, in their eyes, being brash and being cocky and showing so much confidence, and that's how they painted the picture. But when a black athlete, does the same, responds in kind and shows that same type of energy, it is a problem. She was, that team and that female was demonized by the media with so much backlash. She's not classy. She's not this. They have a real problem with us, and I'm just going to keep it a buck. They have a real problem with us being us. When we're our natural selves, when we're at peace with ourselves, and we allow our natural swag, our natural charisma to ooze out, it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. And a lot of people uncomfortable because instead of getting up on the microphone and saying stuff that you think they should say, they get up there and speak their truth. And it makes people uncomfortable. And this is a trend that has been going on, not just with sports, but with society as a whole. But we're going to kind of keep it to the lane of sports because that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Like I said, it's Freestyle Friday. I just wanted to kind of get my thoughts out on paper. And this is my paper of doing it. Me personally, I support everything that DEION is doing. He's done it clean. He's done it the right way. If you really get into what he's doing off camera, as far as that program, to kind of discipline, he's asking from his players, the kind of work he puts in, the kind of time he puts in. Why not respect it? He's not being handed anything. He wasn't handed the keys to a Georgia. He wasn't handed the keys to Alabama. He was handed the keys to Colorado, a team that won one game last year, a team that has not had much college football success, frankly, since the days of Cordell Stewart. Let's keep it 1,000. Let's keep it 1,000. He took over a organization, took over a program that not much would start off. But here he is, he's being successful and he's doing it his way. He's doing it his way. And they're trying to find anything to kind of nitpick at him. They got a game coming up tomorrow against Oregon. I want to say it's a 3:30 kickoff my time, but they're waiting for him to fall to jump with him. Like, see, hey, you can't do it that way. You should do it this way. We want you to do it this way. What you've done is yada 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 yada. And after watching Deion since his playing days at Florida State, watching his playing days with the Falcons, the 49ers, and the Cowboys primarily, he's going to be him. And I can appreciate that on a personal level as a black man, for you to have the spotlight on you, not feel the need to change who you are, not feeling the need to adapt to something that is not natural to you. I can appreciate that as a black man, because too often our black athletes are, let's keep it 1,000 with this. I mean, they're like trained. They're trained to how to speak to the media, how to present yourself to the public, what to say, what to wear, what can you do with your free time, who can you associate with. A lot is made, and a lot of time and energy is put into athletes in general, but mainly black athletes when we're talking about some of like say NFL's rookie symposium. A lot of that is targeted towards the black athlete. You don't really hear about white athletes and their entourage. You don't hear about white athletes and quote unquote how to deal with the groupies and that kind of stuff. You namely, when you think about that kind of stuff in the realm of sports, they like to associate that with the black athlete. Like the white athlete is not going out getting drunk and getting wasted with his crew of friends. They're called friends, but when it's a black athlete or a black personality, it's an entourage. They're hanger-ons. We don't get that same level of breakdown from the media in that essence, and it extends. Like I said, this is a conversation about sports, but it's a deeper conversation when we're talking about society as a whole. They have a problem with us being authentically and unapologetically us. And and I would, like I said, my advice is, Deion, keep doing you, keep doing you, keep being you. Um, I don't care how many games you win. I don't care what your record is. I don't really care how the team performs. Yeah, I want the team to do well because it's your program. But at the end of the day, I want you every step of the way, and every step of this journey that you're on as a college football coach. I want you to be you. And thus far, he has been him. He's not tried to change who he is. He's not tried to fit the mold, not trying to be cookie cutter. He's not a cardboard coach. He is him. And, I appreciate that, watching another black man be successful and be successful doing it his way, not the way that they want him to do it, but being successful his way of doing it. And keep it up, man. Keep it up. You're an example to those young men on that football team. You're an example to other young men um, who aspire to play the college football. You're an example to young men, and not young men, just young people. Period. In our culture today, hey, you can be successful being you. You don't have to be what they want you to be. Be you. I can think of a lot of criticism has been given to um, former NBA player legend Michael Jordan as far as why he didn't speak out, during his time of being a player, why he didn't speak out on social issues that affected his community. And a part of that was like he didn't want to upset the sponsors. He didn't want to step outside and really, have a honest thought, an honest opinion on anything. And too many of our athletes are like that. Social issues come up, things come up, and it affects our community. First and foremost, our community. And players don't speak on the players. Kind of give media savvy responses because they don't want to suffer the backlash. They don't want to, you know, um, let's keep, they don't want to be Colin Kaepernick. They like the perks of their job. They like their job. They like the endorsement deals. They like the kind of stuff that comes along with the lifestyle of being a professional athlete. But every now and then, hey, um, it would be nice, as like I said, as a young person, to see, these athletes. And we done a show earlier on this channel when we're talking about our athletes role models. Should they be considered role models? And I had my views on it. My guest at the time, Dr. Nikki, had her views on it. It was a very good conversation. If you missed it, go back, check it out on the channel. It's still up. But I like for my athletes, and when I say my athletes, I'm talking about black athletes. Be you. Be you. Don't be afraid of being you. It kind of ties into, like I said, a show I did earlier this week. Be at peace with yourself. Be at peace with you. Don't feel the need to fit the mold. Fit the mold is basically a way of saying, hey, we want you to be solid. We don't want you to have an opinion. Why? Why is now I think what was we're seeing that with DEION, with the college football stuff. Why it's a problem for them because they can't control it. You can't wrangle it in. He's not playing your game. He's being him, and it bothers them. You have the critics on TV. Like I'm in the Twitter Spaces. You got haters galore. You got haters galore. Can't wait for his team to lose and try to write that off as a referendum on him as a person. Now, let alone a football coach, but want to write a referendum on him as a person. Oh yeah, he's this, he's that, he's not putting the work in, yada yada yada. Um, be you, man. Be you. I appreciate it. I love it. You will have my support as long as you decide to do college football, even after that. Because what some people don't understand, you're doing something that you love. You don't have to do it. It's not like Dion needed the money. It's not like Dion needed the attention. He could have got millions of dollars being an analyst on TV, and wouldn't have to have half the work to put in, half the scrutiny. Doing it when involve his family. You have to also take that into account when you're talking about the Deion Sanders situation. You know, um, Low key, his family has become targets just because of the energy and swag he brings to the sport. But let me kind of take a pause for the calls. Gator girl, how you doing? Deion Sojourner, he's even feeding his haters and trolls. Yep. Love our primes, but respectability politics since day one. I love it. I love it. And I hope he's an example to not only, like I said, young men and women, but other athletes. Be you. If you have an opinion on something, feel free to share it. Don't be worried about who you offending. If that's how you truly feel, that's how you truly feel. I'm not saying go out your way to be disrespectful to others in other communities, but be you. If something is happening in your city as far as like police injustice, speak out on it. It affects you. This is at the end of the day, these people are part of your communities, people part of your support system. These people are part of the reason you're able to be in the position you are. Be you, man. Be you at the end of the day, and let the rest fall where it may. Let the rest fall. Hey, they don't like it, fine. Like I said, Prime hasn't changed. His stance, he hasn't changed who he is. Um, in all the years I've watched him, from his days playing to now coaching, he hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. He's not one of these talking heads that's going to get up there and say the correct thing and tone it down. Don't tone down you. Don't tone, like I said, every nine and every couple of years you get a reminder of the media gives you a reminder like, hey, we like you having being a person, but we want you to tone it down because we want you to be a certain kind of way. Like I said, it brings me back to the LSU girls basketball situation from last season with them. The white girl does the little hand gesture. Oh, they loving it. Oh, they loving it. She's a darling in her eyes. She can do no wrong, and it's just she has so much swag and confidence, and they loved it. As soon as a black girl does it to her, under the same circumstances, oh, low key calling them a thug, and denigrate them as people, just off of a gesture that just the week prior you were praising another female basketball player. Like I said, that's how the system works. But at the end of the day, be you. You gotta, it's gonna be sometimes you gotta take the criticism with it. I mean, that's what haters do. Haters gonna hate. Haters are gonna hate. It don't matter what you do. In this world, people are going to criticize. People are going to critique it. People are just going to be mad at you for being you, and that is something that you have to understand. Not even as a major public figure, just in life, period. Just in life, period. But even more so in sports, because you have an audience. You have you can reach people that a lot of regular people just can't reach with their commentary. Be you. Be you. It may cost you some things. It may come with a bit of sacrifice, but is it worth sacrificing who you are for a couple dollars? And that's a question you got to ask yourself. You got to ask yourself, not just with athletes, but just in life period. Is it what's it worth to you? I like to live my life by the 5x5 rule. If it's not going to matter in 5 years, why spend 5 minutes being upset about it? For me personally, I address shit when I address shit. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to spend, my life, being held up and being upset about something that, at the end of the day, you really can't control. You can't control what other people think. You can't control what other people feel. So why bother? Why bother? I don't mind you being bothered by being bothered. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to continue to be me. Like I said, I like that from Dion. I will hope, more athletes, more black personalities in the sports world are like that, not trying to take shots at those that, hey, if that's not a part of you, that's not a part of you. But at the end of the day, don't tone down you for others. Don't don't put a limit on yourself. Don't turn down yourself for others. You see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Don't turn down yourself for others. If you are, an outspoken individual, you have views, I can appreciate that about Kyrie. Now, Kyrie, I think, is a little cuckoo at times with some of his points of view, but I can appreciate it. At the end of the day, I can appreciate him taking a stance on whatever he believes in, and staying true to that. Hey, this is how I feel about it. I was kind of disappointed. He had to, was made. Let's keep it a buck. Was made to do the whole apology thing and all of that kind of stuff to satisfy other groups, to satisfy the NBA. I was kind of disappointed by that, but I get it. At the end of the day, I get it. At the end of the day, um, but I can appreciate him being him. He's not, try to fit into a mold. He's like, I'm gonna be me. At the end of the day, like it or love it. Like it or love it. Let me kind of get it here. Miss Murph says that was atrocious. I remember that. Prime had a dog on where I come. Yeah, it must be the money. Come on, that was a hit, Doctor Nick. That was a hit. That was a hit. That was a classic. Hanging out with MC Hammer and stuff. Man, that was the days. Them the days. I'm showing my age a little bit. Showing my age a little bit. But yeah, must be the money, Miss Murphy. Yeah, I can't help myself. That's like a anthem. You hear it. You know you don't know the lyrics, but you know the hook. But like I said, with Dion, like I like the example that he's setting for the modern day pro sports personality. I'm just gonna say it like that. I like the model. He's like, hey, be you. They want to take shots at you for wearing a hat and shades. Run with it. Run with it. Be you. Don't try to change up who you are to satisfy them. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hold on for a second. I gotta guess. I don't have too many guests come over here in the corporate space. Hold on. Okay.
Hey, Dots.
How you doing, ma'am? Oh, let me take that background down. Wrong show.
Listen, I was getting ready to say, what? Like, woo, we doing that over here?
Nah, wrong show. I ain't used to have nobody over, so I'm still up. All right, what's your thoughts, man? First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I thought that it was funny that Gator Girl brought up Dion's rap career because that was atrocious. I remember the Jerry curl and everything. In fact, I think that it was drama behind that because I think that was part of like the saga of what's his name? MC Hammer going broke.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
So
like part of right towards the end of his rap career. Yeah, it was.
exactly. That was hilarious, but I was here for it because I appreciate, the swag and the braggadociousness and the audacity when you have the talent and the skill sets to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
But also that I think that plays into why people find, just black athletes problematic because it's all about them trying to establish a set of rules and a decorum to make you acceptable to them and to dispel their fears when, you know, historically with black and white people, black people haven't been affiliated with, terrorist groups.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it was Nikki Giovanni in one of her earlier books that she did, and it was kind of tongue in cheek, but I was here for it. She said that she called herself giving like black folks a comeback for, white folks when, when they go off to college and things of that nature. And one of the ones that I remember her saying was that she said that, white folks are always talking about they feel uncomfortable when black folks gather in large groups. And she was saying that, she suggested that your comeback be, well, I'm always uncomfortable when I see, a large crowd of white folks in a group, because she was harkening it back to, KKK and their activity. And I think that, that spoke or speaks volumes even to today, because Dion is still fighting when he really shouldn't have to be a part of, that group or crew of people, when these are people that, hadn't made any strides or don't have any accolades in his lane, if that makes
Mhm.
sense to you.
Yeah, it does.
And now it's like, now there's a decorum with all of this. He can't sit up and brag, during the what do you call that when you deal with the reporters after the show, the media, whatever that's called. I
The
can't
post game.
remember the
Yeah, the
formal name.
post.
Like he can't be himself and say, y'all didn't believe in me, but I see y'all real quiet now. He can't do that type of stuff that is, commonplace in the NFL, because the other coaches don't do it.
Hmm. Well, another thing that I've kind of noticed, and for me, it's kind of an issue, because I don't know how genuine these people are. Some of these people that have kind of like jumped on the bandwagon to be accepted, kind of like riding the wave. I don't, I'm not one of the people. If you went down from day one, don't come around now. Don't come around now. I just find it funny that, as much as they criticize him in the media, they're doing all of their pregame shows in Colorado now. Um,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like yeah, we don't, at the end of the day, we don't like you because you unapologetically black man, but we gonna eat off you because this is where the attention is at. You know,
Absolutely. It's
he is.
almost like people can't really take credit for making him. It's like you said, that team won one game last year.
Hmm.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, he's self. For what it's worth, who don't know, people who may be listening who don't know, like he's self-made. He didn't come in under a Nick Saban. He didn't come in under being somebody's offensive coordinator. Took over a HBCU football program that wasn't on the radar, put them on the map, and is now taking a Power Five school that hasn't been on the map for over 30 years. We're talking about from the days of like Cordell Stewart, and now they're the epicenter of not just college football, they're the epicenter of the sports world.
Well, I wanted to, if I could, just be petty for a minute with the Cordell Stewart thing.
Go ahead.
Every time they bring up Cordell Stewart's name, I think about his little tryst or lack thereof with Andrew Caldwell. I just hate that that's gonna be his legacy and not what he did in Colorado or in the
Yeah.
NFL, or the fact that he married to Portia, or he married Portia Williams. So I had to go there. I'm sorry.
Well, his legacy is a lot of things, and a lot of people don't relate football to it first and foremost. I mean, I do, but for the social media world, he's known as Portia's ex-husband, and the Andrew Caldwell stuff. But I digress. I digress on that.
I mean, I just thought that that was just funny, the whole, and again, this is really not even the place for that, but it does kind of mix, because again, it's black people in sports and all of the stuff that goes on around it. And it was something else that you said earlier too that I wanted to back up to, which was the idea of people having crews and entourages. Oftentimes with black folks, they really do just see it as like gang culture, gang behavior.
Yeah.
They can't look at it as, okay, well, we fraternize just like you all do. We click up, and what's wrong with it?
Yeah, they put that stereotype and that stigma on the black athlete when they don't do it to the white athletes. Like Tom Brady could be rolling around with a crew of 20 white dudes and won't nobody say a word. Uh, a basketball player can have a crew of guys he went to school with. I mean, remember they were talking about LeBron's quote unquote entourage when he first came into the league, and now these guys
Hmm.
are multi-million dollars times over. These guys are not, one hanger-ons. We're here to work. But they came in with that label of, these are just guys he knew from school. They're entourage. Like, no, these are my associates. These are my business partners. This is what this is. But we don't get seen, and it kind of like, because that's the stigma they put on us. Like, you don't really hear about white athletes with groupies, but it happens. Um, a lot of stuff that they got going on with white athletes, they don't publicize and make a stereotype for them, but they do it for us.
But even with Johnny Football, that stuff came and went so quickly. He was awful.
Yeah.
He wasn't just awful. He was awful.
Well, I mean, that's they protect their own. I mean, at the end of the day, that's how I look at the media as a whole. They protect their own. Push comes to shove, they're going to protect their own.
But even with his bad behavior, they saw it as poor behavior because he was so called, and nobody said this out front, but I believe it was because they thought he was trying to act black. Because when we start talking about, and you and I hit on this a little bit when we talked about this, probably about a month ago on a Freestyle Friday, about ambassadors and role models. They always equate everything with being braggadocious and all this other kind of stuff with blackness. And why is that?
Well, I guess with and it kind of ties into a theme I like, I had with the other space when I talk about control. Like, they don't, what they can't control, it makes them scared. I mean, you can think back to the days of Jack Johnson.
Oh,
And
he scared the hell out of
yeah,
everybody. The biggest, blackest, you know what, and always had a white woman on the side. They loved him.
yeah, and
Those white women loved him.
but they couldn't control him. They couldn't control what he would do, couldn't control what he would say, and it makes it even worse for them when they can't control that aspect. And then you're the best at what you do. It just makes it even worse for them. And I think that's
Absolutely.
yeah. With if Dion was losing, trust me, they would not be covering him like this. It's the fact
I
that he's
think
been
they would.
no, no.
Because remember, you and I still have a $2 bet. That if he doesn't have consecutive, or if he has like a consecutive losing seasons or bad seasons, that they would get rid of him and not give him a chance to build. Which is another reason why I'm glad that he's starting off the way that he is, because sometimes it's the players and sometimes it's the coaching and sometimes it's the players and the coaching.
But like I said, if he was losing, and this I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna explain why I said that. If he was losing, let's say he was 0-3 right now, the media wouldn't put that much focus and energy on it, because then they would have, they'd have been told you, we told you so. He wasn't ready. He wasn't prepared. He's not ready for this level of competition. The fact that he has been successful thus far, and then I think he will continue to be successful um, going forward. It bothers them. It bothers they want to see him, like, they're 20. I want to say they're 21-point underdogs tomorrow. They want to see him get blown off the field just so they can come and say they told you so on Sunday morning sports shows. That's what they want to do. But if he goes, as long as he remains successful, and I mean, for me, that's like just rubbing it in their face just by being successful, and they hate that. They hate that he didn't
But
come
how are
from.
they defining successful? You talking about a bowl championship or what? Because if they only won one game last season and this season they won three, that's successful.
I mean, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I mean,
So it's like you can't keep moving the field post for him. And
that's
and
what they
and
do.
and I want to disagree with you. If he were losing, I believe that they would definitely have the spotlight on him because of that. So for the very same reasons that, they had the spotlight on him from winning, I would say if he was losing, that they would definitely still do it, because again, here's another black man who is, has the fame and doesn't even need the money,
Mm.
doing it truly for the love of the game. At least I hope.
I mean, I think it is. It's been talk of NFL teams trying to approach him, and he's clearly come out and said, this year and then in the past that he doesn't want to coach any pro athletes because he don't think he can motivate them. Like I said, if the man was 0-3, they wouldn't be doing the pregame shows from Boulder. You wouldn't have Lil Wayne and these people. These I like to call them hanger-ons. Because some of it's genuine and some of it's like we just want to be down because this is where it's at.
Right.
He
And then I heard he had offered what the baby a football scholarship. Was that true?
I don't. It's so many rumors. Like I'm with the Twitter stuff that I'm like. It's so much going on. So much. Some of it, a lot of it's misinformation. So I'm not even sure. But it's a show upon itself. But it's only because he's being successful. Like I said, if he was losing, these guys wouldn't be hanging on. They wouldn't be like, yeah, we're rolling with Coach Prime. They wouldn't do pregame shows. They'd have been told you, we told you so. They're waiting for him to really really fall.
Mm-hmm.
Not just lose the game. They want him to, have a subpar season, the season that they've been used to in Colorado, just to say, and make it a referendum, not just on him, but low key, make it a referendum on black coaches that maybe want to come up from the HBCU level to coach at a D1 level. They're gonna make hey, Deion couldn't do it. He wasn't successful. Why should we hire you? We'll bring you on as like an offensive line coach or something like that. You'll never. I mean, you think about it. It's over 116 D1 college football programs, but you know the black man is not represented heavily at the top of a lot of those staffs.
Okay, so let me throw that question back to you again.
Okay.
So, I mean, not necessarily like you didn't get it the first time, but we had already talked about it. So then Dion has more riding on him than just a season. He is going to be the marker of whether other black people can move, into those spaces as well.
Yeah, and not by choice. I would say that's not by choice because I don't think he's doing it intentionally with that goal in mind. But they're gonna be looking at him as the example. They're gonna be looking at him as the example, and I mean, I don't think it's fair because they don't do that to their coaches. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, it's unintentional, but it's part of the job. It's part of his responsibility. Now, what's going on, LV? What's going on, Trees? I ain't ignoring y'all, gentlemen. I'm just up here chopping it up real quick.
Well, let me ask you a better question than the one I asked before. So, do you think it's for NFL players who want to come back and coach, or for other black coaches who are, seasoned, you know, have had maybe successful records at HBCUs or elsewhere, even high school, to bump up in those situations? Because that's a difference.
I don't. I look at him as more of the HBCU type coaches moving up. I think NFL players, if they really express interest on joining anybody's staff, per se, I think they'll get a easier look than a guy that's coming from the HBCU who doesn't have that NFL flavor to him. Guys, I can't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't name any head coach at the HBCU level right now. I couldn't name them off the top of my head, but I think NFL players have always had an easier way of kind of getting back in to the coaching thing. It's kind of like with NBA players. It's easier for them guys to lead a league and get hired on it as assistant coach, and some guy that's had to grind his way up from the collegiate level to get on the pro staff.
Okay, so maybe another Freestyle Friday topic can be, if the spirit moves you to talk about why we don't have more of these NFL and NBA, coaches, or not coaches, but former players giving back to high school programs or coming back to coach, things of that nature, or just sponsoring a team.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and a lot of them do. It's not publicized like that. A lot of them contribute, um, to teams and that kind of stuff, but it's not publicized like that by the media.
Well, I ain't talking about the annual tax write off.
No, but I'm just saying,
I'm just
it's
kidding.
yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's guys that's doing it, but it's not newsworthy. With Dion, I look at Dion as the perfect storm for on a lot of different levels. Here you have a black man um in a mainly predominantly white sport, as far as the hierarchy as far as power is concerned, not necessarily the players on the field, because we know who's the running that. But you have a black man who is unapologetically him. That's another caveat. It's not that he's a black coach and he's being successful. It's just they're not. We're not used to that from any of our kind of coaches, especially from the black guy. I mean, when's name the last black college football coach that was even seen remotely on that level? I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me to maybe Ty Willingham when he was at Stanford. I mean, it's
You talking
rare.
about football or just period
I mean,
sports?
let's think about even pro NFL head coaches, black ones. When you have a strong personality, you don't last too long because you don't fit the mold that they want you to have. I mean,
Well, Mike Tomlinson has been phenomenal. And, we have seen him give some very curt responses, after the games when they didn't play well, or when some of the, media people were asking what he would consider to be a dumbass question.
well, I mean,
I
but
have enjoyed his tenure at Pittsburgh.
you put it, you right, that last word got it right there. Pittsburgh is a very unique situation when we're talking about NFL head coaches. They don't fire guys like that. Most head coaches at Pittsburgh, they retire. They don't get
Yeah,
fired.
and I agree with you on that, because it's obvious. I mean, that's a fact. But I don't think that some of the other ones, what's the guy? Dungy wasn't like that. All the people that Dungy sent out. What's the other dude's name that looked like Dungy? I thought they were brothers.
Um,
Uh
God
uh
damn it used to be the
Harold
Jets.
somebody.
Used to be the Jets head coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
forgot his
mean,
name.
they just didn't have
Herm
like they
Edwards.
again,
Herm
they're
Edwards.
nothing like Mike Tomlinson. I mean, he was just somebody who was younger that they brought up, and he, was able to really do something with that program.
Yeah, Herm Edwards. That's his name.
Harv, that's what it is.
But like I said, Dion is the perfect storm, and like I said, I'm glad he's successful. Um, just winning games, because like I said, if he was on 3, a lot of this attention it wouldn't be like this. Everybody's trying to get a piece of the prime pie. Um, he's the epicenter of not just like college sports. He's pretty much the epicenter of sports. Period. Right now, he's a
Yeah, and
trending.
I love it. I absolutely
Yeah,
love
me
it
too. Like, keep talking about him. Keep bringing him up. Keep talking about it. Keep showing the clips. Keep talking about
because
his
he can
energy.
handle it.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. It's almost like they picked the wrong dude to try to come for and make them think that it's gonna get into his headspace. Like prime time has always been the man.
Well, they thought prime time was gonna bow down to the system, and
Absolutely.
they thought he was gonna come in, give you a lot of coach speak, and be very Nick Sabian-ish with his responses. I mean, but from the moment he took the job, he's been taking shots and rolling with it. And okay, you want to talk about me having hats and shades? Okay, we giving my team, we rolling out here with shades. You talk about. I mean, it's personal, and they make it personal. And I love it. I love it.
Right, but did you expect anything less though, Dots? Really?
No, I didn't. I thought, I mean, and because
But they did.
yeah, they did. They thought he was gonna come in here. They gave him one of the worst college football programs over the past 30 years as far as like team success. They gave him one of the worst opportunities, and it's like, what you gonna do with this? Yeah, oh, I'm just gonna ship out a bunch of these trash players that's been here, bring in my guys, who I know, and we're gonna do something, and it's been proven. Yeah, it's
But
been proven.
black people, we've always had to make bricks without straw.
Yeah, and that's
That's been our plight.
and I don't know why they surprised that we continue to be able to make something out of nothing, because that's what they gave him.
Absolutely.
That's what they gave him. They gave him nothing to pro. Let's just I'm a college football fan. I don't remember seeing Colorado football on TV this much. Um, since Cordell, and it wasn't even, and there wasn't even that much when he was playing. Like Colorado football, please, wasn't nobody covering them, wasn't nobody talking about them. Now you get, like I said, he's all on talk shows. That he's the epicenter of sports. No
But he's
show.
also helping them to make more money. Well, not necessarily money, but as far as viewership, because to be honest, I don't watch college football. I can't stand it. I really can't. I like the NFL, and with the NFL, I have players on just about every team. I could watch it all day, every day, so on and so forth. But I am rooting for the Gators just for Gator Girl. So I have been watching them play
For what?
because I love her and I'm going to support her through her team.
Gator girl, roll tide. I know we struggling with this shit, but roll goddamn tide. You ain't got, don't suffer for Gator girl. Let her suffer in silence.
but but I'm saying I am watching because of prime time. I'm watching to support him from home. I do call audibles and things like that from home. So,
Yeah,
that's going to be my 2 cents from home.
I mean, but like I said, I'm enjoying it. And not just because, like I said, take the sports element, just to see a black man with the spotlight on him, and he's being himself. Um, I love it. And every now and then you get those examples from us this related to sports primarily. We get those moments. We get those Fab Fives. We get the Ali's. We get Mexico City Olympics. The thumbnail. Like, I love moments like that when we're us, and
Absolutely.
there's nothing they can do about it. I
And
love it.
unapologetically so. And he's going to bring it every time, especially now that he knows that it gets up under your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a win and still be me
So I hope, like I said, I wish him much
and be
success.
infectious to the team.
Yeah, I'm gonna be tuned in tomorrow. To watch this guy. I like I like the football anyway, but I mean he's got a good team. They play well so far. Haven't played a complete game. I'm not going to sit here and do a whole breakdown, but you
Hmm.
know, I mean, it's oozing. Trust me, the more he be successful, watch it start really oozing out a lot more. Um, that vitriol they have for him, it's going to start oozing out a little bit more week after week. The more he wins, it's going to start oozing out how much him being him really bothers people.
And can I say this too? I really love the fact that he is a dark skinned black person. Like, he's black for show. He's not, like a what you call it, just enough black, but he's black for show. That's what makes me love it even more. And speaking of that, Trees, could you give me just a little bit more tint on my face? Like, I'm proud to be a chocolate sister. If I could be midnight, I would love to be midnight.
Yeah, we'll see if Triggs fulfills that request.
And thank you for your support, whether it's genuine or not. I appreciate it. Dots, aka drama, aka whatever they calling me this week. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you bringing something new to those of us who want to come over here for something new. I really appreciate it, and I would like to say this too, if you would allow me. It's sports related.
Go ahead.
I want to say this officially. Now, a brother of a certain age, this is not personal. I've rocked with you, and we've never had a problem with each other, and we're not going to. But if you want this to be a problem, it can be. My husband is a G man, and he says that they are a second half team. And I just wanted to respectfully point out that last night they were not. So it got so bad, drama, that my husband went to sleep after the second quarter. I said, "But y'all a second half team." He was like, "Man, fuck that. I'm firing all of them niggas right now." So yeah, he fires people.
I'm gonna say this about you about the G band. I was gonna kind of save. I'm say the full breakdown for the Tuesday show when I wrap up all the week's games. But the game I watched last night. Um, I slightly overrated the G man coming into this season. I thought they would be a little bit better, maybe along the side, same line.
Man, when I tell you that defense was non-existent, I don't know what 29 and 27 were doing, but damn it, they did not get the memo. Like I don't. It was awful. As I said, he went to sleep. I kept waking up like, man, wait, y'all might score.
I mean, it was a game. It was a game in the first half. But you can't. I think they was on the field. You can't have your defense on the field that long. I don't care who you are, 49ers, Cowboys, whoever. You have a defense on the field that long, eventually you're going to get breakdowns. Eventually you're going to get mistakes. I was a fan of Daniel Jones last year. I told you guys he wasn't that bad, but he's proven me otherwise thus far this season. But I'm not going to put all the blame on him. It's just not the good team I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be a lot more better this year, but it's still
Man, it
early.
was
It's still early.
pitiful.
It's still early. I
Listen,
still
that was pitiful. And then I asked him, I said, why do y'all always get quarterbacks that have the dumbest looks on their face? I was like, I thought after y'all got rid of Manning that, we wouldn't have that. Like his looks were priceless.
Well, I mean, it really drafted him because he had the kind of same kind of play style as Manning too. Like weird.
And that's crazy, but because it wasn't working. Like it worked when it worked, but now it's not working. But LV said something I thought was funny. He told me I need to root for Tar Heels. I will never root for the Tar Heels. Absolutely never. Okay. If it came down to it in North Carolina teams, I'm a Duke fan. I will never root for Chapel Hill for shit.
More power to you on that one. More power to you. I don't know what the background is on that between that. Hey, Tar Heels. I was a Duke basketball fan back in the day, but I can't
And
do
I
Tar
have
Heels.
always been a Duke basketball fan. Like I can't. I have never liked the Tar Heels. Never, never. They are the bane of my existence. I'm just kidding. It's not that serious. But yeah, never. And as I said again, I may not have another platform to do this because Triggs and I don't always. But he is my Ebu. I'm claiming him. Um, ugly picture and all. But yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. I had to give credit where credit is due, and Miss Murph and everybody else. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate you. And like Barles and James used to say, thanks for your support.
No, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always pleasure. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make this a regular thing on Fridays. Over here, this kind of like mix the social with the sports and trying to find unique ways. I'm working on I saw a beautiful working on the next Bill show already, and it's kind of stemming from the migrants coming across the border and the plan in Chicago to kind of make that the migrant hub um, coming up real soon. But I'm gonna kind of do a little more research on that, and I'm gonna kind of bring that, in the other space.
Hey,
But yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. But Fridays, I'm going to be, kind of doing a little mix of the freestyle Friday, kind of like mixing in social and sports and that kind of stuff. I like different. I like being different. Now you're a Cowboys Duke fan and an Aggie. Oh man, LV with the shots. All right.
Tell them it's all good. It is all good. Everybody who is an Eagle really wanted to be an Aggie, but they just didn't make the cut. It's all good.
Gator girl, come on. Gators reach the top 10. I might not even have a show next time that happens, but I digress. Still roll tide. Still roll goddamn tide. Any last words, ma'am? Because I wasn't gonna do a show in the other space, but Miss Murph put me on the spot earlier this week, so I got to cobble together something to kind of give the people.
No, again, I appreciate being able to come up here and talk some sports with you. Again, I'm not just a nerd, literature and all the other kind of stuff. I'm an avid sports fan as well. So I appreciate you allowing me to come up here and just chop it up with you on your platform. And I look forward to seeing it grow. And I do put your links down in other chats that I'm in. So I'm looking forward to seeing your channel grow, and I appreciate you. So
Thank you,
that's
thank
it.
you.
That's all I want to say. I appreciate you, and I appreciate having somewhere else to come and talk about some other things.
Yeah, we're gonna be mixing it up. I'll talk about that in a future show. Because a lot being made about, am I retiring? Like, no, but brother got to make some changes, and I think y'all will like it though.
Well, it's all good. Again, I'm gonna hang up my well, never mind. I'm not even gonna say that because that would be a black ass lie. So I will talk. I will never, ever, ever lie on myself. So, with that being said, let me drop down before I say something I shouldn't say.
Okay.
Thank you again for having me up, and I'll see you in the chat, and
Yes, yes,
maybe
yes.
even on the porch.
Maybe. It's I got a little show put together. I wasn't gonna do one, but I like to, give back to those who support me. So Miss Murphy was like, you gonna do it? I was like, okay, I got you. I got you.
And I was still hoping that you would forward that information on, but I guess y'all will
Oh,
coordinate that at another time.
well, Miss Murph, well, since I mean, because this, it ain't that big of a deal, 'cause I don't want her to put it in a chat. Miss Murph, just leave me a comment on one of my old videos over here, um, just with your email, so I can exchange it with the good doctor here, and let y'all converse on whatever y'all converse on. If you could, please. Just a humble request from your no name, no music having DJ, whatever they call me this week. This the old video of mine, and this lead that, and I'll forward it along, and let y'all do what y'all do. So is the porch open tonight? Yes, Triggs, the porch will be open tonight. I got I put together a show. I was brother was trying to take, but that's in the other space. That's in the other space. Housekeeping over here. I will be breaking down the games on Tuesday. And Gator Girl can see some of my picks are going to be right. We'll be back in the other space Wednesday with the kickback. Back over here on Thursday with the week 4 preview. Freestyle Friday over here, and depending on my mood, I got guys got stuff going on. And to answer your question, do you have a third channel? Uh, I'm working on something with another content creator from the space. We're going to try to do something a little bit different. For us, go do something a little bit different. We're working on it. We're still working on the concept from. I think y'all will like it. But yeah, I'm working. I got stuff going on. I'm working. I'm busy. I'm making moves. I'm trying to get the people what they want. No behind the scenes stuff, Miss Mercer. No behind the scenes stuff. It ain't that kind of party. But I'll let y'all do that on y'all own. But last words, Nick, because I gotta
No,
start
I don't
packing up.
have any last words. I was just I was reading the chat, and I'm on my phone, so I'm trying to go back and forth and what have you. So let me drop off so you can close out your show. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you as always for coming through. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No, listen, completely my pleasure.
All right, ma'am. I'll be seeing you around. All right. Let me kind of get wrap this show up. Yeah, the behind the scenes stuff. Like, no, Miss Murphy, just leave me a comment. It ain't that kind of. She had a message she wanted to pass along, specifically to you. It's not, nothing spicy like that, but I said I would pass along the messages. Me and my forgetfulness forgot to do it. I think it's kind of safe to say that over here, because most of the people over here are not running it, telling the business anyway. But anyway, beautiful, yeah, beautiful. We'll be working. I'm working on the show for Wednesday. Another kickback. It's going to have a hint of politics in it. But more or less, it's me running my goddamn mouth like I normally do. Let me get together. Start working on thumbnail and all the other stuff for later on. That's what Miss Merv asked for. So I said I deliver. And it's like it's some stuff that people are working on in a positive light behind the scenes, and I think y'all are going to be enjoying the stuff that people are kind of put. I'm privy to some of that information, but I'm not going to spoil it for a lot of people. But I think it's better days ahead. It's different days ahead, but we're gonna kind of leave it at that. Be back here on Tuesday. Hope y'all have a good weekend, have a safe weekend, enjoy some football, enjoy some sports, enjoy family, man, enjoy life. Do all of that. I mean, You heard the Wednesday show, so you already know what it is. But anyway, let me end it off with the phrase that pays around here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.